First, let's turn to the latest data out this morning. The National Federation of Independent Business earlier released its monthly optimism index, and it did show small business sentiment improved in May on the back of better expectations for business and sales. Small businesses did cite taxes as their biggest challenge for the first time since December of 2020. And joining me now with more is Holly Wade. She's the executive director of NFIB Research Center. Holly, always good to check in with you each month on this particular index. And what were your takeaways from May's report?
Well, for the month of May, we did see, as you mentioned, an uptick in optimism, a whole 3 points. And now we're 1 point above, or almost 1 point above, the 51-year average for the optimism index among small business owners. That's a good sign. This is the first increase in the index since the beginning of the year, where we've seen a lot of uncertainty and a lot of concern about how the development of trade policy might impact the economy, might impact them personally. And so this is a sign that small business owners are a bit more comfortable where things are going. And for the most part, their businesses look to be fairly healthy moving forward. And so a bit of optimism in their expectations, as you mentioned, on business conditions and also for sales expectations, which is a great sign.
I do want to talk about taxes because small businesses citing that as their biggest challenge of all the options out there for the first time since December 2020 comes amid, of course, the push through of President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, as he's called it, to extend those tax cuts. What more can you share there?
Sure. So small business owners, they were elated about the new administration, the configuration of Congress after the election, with the expectation that those provisions from the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act would be made permanent so that they wouldn't have to try and manage a huge tax increase at the end of this year if they didn't pass the great big beautiful bill that has all of those provisions in it. So small business owners are still concerned about what the final legislation will look like, how long it will take Congress to move that forward to the president's desk. And so they're in anticipation that especially the provision of the 20% small business deduction will remain in place. That will help them move forward in investing in their business. So it's still very much a concern for them, whether it's on a federal level or state level. But the legislation going through is one of the most important issues that they're looking at right now as far as the federal government and what Congress is doing.
There's been a lot of focus of late, Holly, on jobs and whether or not tariffs will impact jobs. Any sort of data that we see on the jobs front in this report?
So for the labor components of our survey, we've seen a bit of easing just in the last number of months. Generally speaking, fewer say that they have an unfilled job opening. Fewer are looking to plan hires or increase their labor force in the next quarter. And also on the compensation front, a bit less pressure on that end. So some steam letting out as far as the pressure of increasing compensation that has been a huge factor for them over the last number of months to retain and recruit qualified applicants for those open positions. But still, those industries that have been most dominant in those categories, construction, transportation, manufacturing, those still have very high levels of unfilled job openings available for those looking for positions.
All right, Holly Wade, Executive Director of NFIB Research Center. Holly, thank you as always.
Thank you.